Why do so many men chase women's attention but never earn their obsession? Here's the brutal truth. She's not ignoring you because you're too nice or not rich enough. She's ignoring you because you don't yet matter deeply to her psyche. And that's not her fault. That's your responsibility. You're trying to win her with surface-level charm while starving her soul of substance. But obsession, real soul-burning obsession, isn't built on game. It's built on gravity, emotional weight, psychological depth, a man who shifts her worldview. The moment you understand that, everything changes. This isn't about manipulation. It's about transformation. Becoming the kind of man whose presence haunts her thoughts in the best way possible, whose absence feels like silence in a room that used to sing. You want her deeply obsessed. Then stop performing, start becoming. Because obsession isn't triggered, it's earned. Let's dive into the 7 hidden truths no one dares to tell you, but every man needs to hear. Why is it that some women can't forget you, even when they swear they've moved on? It's not always love that leaves the lasting mark. It's impact. The psychological fingerprint you left when you showed up in a way no one else ever did. Ask yourself, were you a man of presence, or just another fleeting ghost in her chaotic memory? We live in a culture that treats relationships like fast food, quick, convenient, disposable. But the soul doesn't digest love that way. Real connection is carved into the nervous system. You become part of her cognitive map, her routines, her emotions, her patterns, and that doesn't just go away. When you show up with chaos and clarity, embodying unpredictability and presence, you awaken something ancient. You stir the archetype of transformation itself. You become a symbol of danger, depth, something more. And women don't forget symbols. They haunt dreams, they linger in silence. But here's the psychological contrast most people miss. If you're inconsistent, weak, manipulative, or needy, she'll remember you, but not with obsession. She remembers you with regret, recoil, a lesson instead of longing. So the question becomes, what did you give her mind to hold on to? Was it growth, pain, safety, chaos? Did you show her a version of herself she couldn't see before? Or did you shrink her into someone smaller, someone ashamed? Most relationships don't fail because love ends. They fail because people stop being unforgettable. They trade discipline for comfort, honesty for flattery, strength for validation. Want to be unforgettable? Stop trying to be liked. Start being real. A woman becomes obsessed with the man who tells her truths she's never heard before, but desperately needed. She won't forget when you stood your ground, not with arrogance, but with clarity. She won't forget when you challenged her instead of coddled her, when you demanded more because you saw what she could be, not what she was willing to settle for. Think about the difference between a man who makes her feel good in the moment and a man who transforms how she sees herself forever. Which one lingers? Emotional intensity encodes memory. Experiences with weight imprint deeper in the brain than casual encounters. So, are you the kind of man who causes awakening? Or just another dopamine hit in a sea of forgettable faces? When you stand with purpose, when your words cut through lies, you don't just leave a memory, you restructure reality. But that level of impact isn't given. It's earned through suffering, solitude, becoming a man who knows himself even when the world tempts him to be softer, easier, quieter. She doesn't remember you for being nice. She remembers you because you changed her. Transformation is unforgettable. If you want to live rent-free in her mind, become the man who sets her soul on fire and walks away with dignity. Why does she compare every man to you, even when she's with someone else? Because you weren't just a person, you were an experience. Experiences don't leave quietly. Most men leave behind noise, disappointment, guilt, maybe a few scattered memories. But a man rooted in identity, who brings clarity to her internal chaos, haunts her, not as regret, but as a reminder of what real felt like. We live in an age of superficial connection, where people fear depth, commitment is mocked, and consistency is rare. Women don't obsess over men who follow trends. They obsess over the man who refused to lie, who looked her in the eye and said, This is who I am. That level of integrity burns into her. It shatters delusions, forcing her to confront what she truly desires. Compare this with weak, passive, emotionally codependent relationships. Men who morph into whatever she wants, agreeable, pliable, safe, but utterly forgettable. He says yes when he means no, avoids conflict, thinks compliance will make her stay. But it kills her respect. You want her to stay? Be a man she can respect. Make her think of you months later, wondering why she can't let go. Be the man who disrupts her world with truth, not convenience. Have you ever told a woman no and meant it? Set a boundary and stood by it when she tested it, not out of anger, but out of principle? If not, don't be surprised when she forgets you. The male archetype she obsesses over isn't passive, it's the integrated man. The man who balances chaos with discipline, dominance with compassion, silence with certainty. He enters her life like a storm, and when he leaves, the air still feels charged. Psychologically, the brain remembers contrast, trauma, and transformation, not mediocrity. Introduce her to a higher standard, show her presence, integrity, masculine groundedness, and she feels it. She might try to move on, tell herself she's over you. But when the new man flinches under pressure or chooses comfort over courage, she'll sense the absence of what you brought. You made her feel safe, not by surrendering your edge, but by owning it. You led without controlling, guided without begging. You didn't just say you were different, you lived it. That man isn't easily replaced. He becomes the psychological standard she subconsciously measures all others against. Mic drop. To be unforgettable, stop trying to impress her. Show her the man she didn't know she needed until she met you. What happens to her mind when you walk away? Not out of bitterness, but principle, without chasing, pleading, or begging. Something in her psyche registers your absence. It's controlled chaos. Most men collapse when emotional intensity rises, apologizing for existing, losing themselves trying to keep a woman halfway out the door. The man who walks away out of clarity, not pride, is unforgettable because he doesn't need her validation to be whole. That terrifies her but also awakens something ancient. Human beings are drawn to what they can't control. When you're always available, always chasing, she sees instability, not strength. Women desire the man who already has a universe and chooses to share it, not one whose world collapses without her. If your identity crumbles when she pulls away, you weren't loving her, you were using her to fill your void. Walking away with integrity signals that you're rooted in something deeper than her approval. The silence that follows haunts her because that man operates from choice, not fear. The type of man who disappears without drama builds empires, not apologies. Weak men beg to be seen. Strong men become someone worth seeing. One is loud, the other inevitable. She can try to replace you, but she won't find another man who left because he demanded respect, not affection. That creates a loop in her mind. Why didn't he chase me? Every echo strengthens your presence. You didn't just disappear, you ascended. This isn't manipulation or games, it's alignment. It's knowing who you are so deeply that no loss or rejection can dismantle your sense of self. A man like that is rare, precious. That's what her soul is starving for, even if her ego fights it. When you walk away, not from indifference, but from clarity, you become a paradox, gone, yet alive in her mind. Not because you took, but because you gave something no one else did. A glimpse of true masculinity. Mic drop. If your absence doesn't echo louder than most men's presence, you were never truly there. Mystery, not manipulation, captures a woman's heart. Depth, not games, creates obsession. Depth comes from a man who hasn't shown all he is yet. That depth isn't cultivated by chasing her, it's cultivated by chasing yourself. Men lose their edge chasing attention. They forget to earn their own respect. Transparency isn't full exposure, it's integrity. You win her curiosity by being rooted in your mission, not over-explaining your identity. Constantly explaining or overexposing vulnerabilities kills emotional gravity. You rob her of wonder. People aren't obsessed with what they understand. They're obsessed with what they can't fully figure out. Weak men overshare, seeking understanding before building self-worth. They mistake attention for affection, exposure for intimacy. True masculine power isn't loud, it's felt. It's the calm intensity of a man who doesn't need to shout because his presence already speaks. Mystery isn't hiding, it's disciplined revelation, timing, and reverence. A man with mystery knows when to speak, when to listen, and that self-restraint isn't repression, it's reverence, for himself and for the connection. Are you mysterious out of fear of being known, or because you're building something worth revealing? Revealed too early and discovery is lost. Obsession is replaced by exhaustion. Reveal gradually with consistency and depth, and you create emotional velocity. Each layer she uncovers increases her investment, curiosity, and attraction. She thinks about you when you're not around. Not manipulation, but authenticity. A man of mystery has psychological weight. He can't be moved by shallow emotions. He anchors chaos. In a world addicted to being liked, he's addicted to being true. To make her obsessed, stop bleeding your identity. Let her chase the parts of you even you haven't revealed. It's not hiding, it's being real, disciplined, layered. The more she sees, the more she wants to see. Mic drop. A man of mystery doesn't make her guess, he makes her earn the right to know. Respect yourself first. Love follows respect. Why does the man who respects himself least expect love most? Love isn't entitlement. Real love isn't given to someone who hasn't earned respect. If a man has built nothing, what is she falling for? This is why most relationships collapse before they begin. A man with no standards for himself cannot uphold standards for a relationship. He wonders why it's chaos, why she pulls away, why admiration turns to contempt. It's simple. You cannot lead someone into emotional stability if you're still a stranger to yourself. A woman isn't attracted to a man who needs her to survive. She's drawn to the man who can thrive without her but chooses her anyway. That distinction separates the boy who clings from the man who builds himself through discipline, self-respect, and sacrifice. He's not obsessed with being loved. He's obsessed with being worthy of it. He doesn't beg for reassurance. He creates a life that radiates assurance. Brokenness doesn't make you more lovable. Vulnerability is owning pain with maturity so she sees resilience, not wounds. Strength isn't aggression, bravado, or manipulation in disguise. Strength is carrying psychological weight, looking chaos in the face and saying, "Not today." It's choosing character over comfort when everything wants to collapse. If she doesn't feel safe with you, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you haven't built strength, you've built performance. Ask yourself, are you offering her a man she can trust in a storm, or a boy who becomes the storm when misunderstood? Are you offering consistency or temporary charm that fades under challenge? Most men don't lose women to others. They lose them to the emotional and spiritual weight they failed to develop. Once that's gone, she leaves to find herself, not another man. Here's the good news. When you stop trying to be liked and start becoming trustworthy, everything changes. You become a lighthouse in her confusion, a man she respects deeply. Respect leads to love that grows fiercely and without condition. Stop asking what to say to get her attention. Ask what to become to deserve her loyalty. Love isn't demanded, it's earned. To make her stay, become the man whose presence makes leaving feel like a loss. Why chase being wanted but fear being needed? Modern relationships fail because attention is craved, but commitment is avoided. We seek validation, not connection. Relationships feel good in the moment, but collapse under truth, pressure, or adversity. A relationship built on dopamine dies with discomfort. If she's only obsessed with convenience, it's not love, it's emotional escapism. You aren't her partner, you're her distraction. Instead, become the anchor, offering depth over flash, presence over performance.